Today's session is about how to boost your creative confidence, and this is very much relevant for right now, today's time. So the timeline will be: I'll show you some of my 15 researched 15 things through which you can actually. It can be things, games, some tasks, or a habit which you can build over time. But definitely, I would say my introduction. I'm a lead UX designer in Mindtree, and I'm an architecture background, and I have done masters in industrial design, and right now working as a lead UX designer, user experience designer in Mindtree. As we are seeing this COVID lockdown time, and we are facing this issue, everyone in this world. So mostly designers, the one and only part is that what the one of the major fact that creative fields people go out and do some research or case studies, or get out in the field and do some research. So these are cut down into remote places, and you have to do it and coordinate accordingly. So at this moment of time, it's like creative confidence is like it should be nurtured, and it is relevant for each and everyone irrespective of their field. Any sports person, if you see, a lot of cricketers do also play like a hobby table tennis and football, if you see, just to keep their so long career. If they are into cricket and they are doing that extensively day in and day out, you need to come out and have a fresh time for yourself to do some other creative skills and explore your creative spectrum. Let's see what is creativity in a broader sense. So definitely the majority of people will say it for all, because creativity can also be termed something like a lot of people in India do in the name of jugaad, which is also one way of creativeness which they built for themselves to solve problems in their day-to-day life. Okay, that is one of the way. Okay, creativity can be for a kid or a 10-year-old kid who is actually giving some critical information or giving critiques to his father's design, maybe, or talking about something. You can actually take your design to a housewife and let them know what their take on it. You can take it to your mom. So irrespective of age groups and professions, creativity is definitely for all, because lot of the difference comes there is that how well you incorporate and use your creativity in your professions in day-to-day life. Everyone is creative. That's why an architect puts a different perspective to UX. An engineer will put a different perspective to, again, product design. So the different ways of expressing it. I think so. There are three reasons for it: lack of motivation, lack of confidence, and lack of awareness. Definitely, at the end of this presentation and whatever portfolio and resume, my previous webinars were about awareness and kind of motivating you, even if I have done 20% of it. But definitely, motivation and confidence is something you need to build on it. Okay, it's a quality or a habit which you need to incorporate in your day to day lifestyle. So this can be solved by talking to people, getting stuff, getting different perspectives, collaborating, expressing your views to others, and telling them to give on feedback. So if you get this corrected, I think so. A lot of awareness gets a lot of motivation also. So all these are interlinked. So once you get the motivation, you have some kind of a confidence to do any creative stuff in your day-to-day life. Okay, like putting a post on LinkedIn. Also, a lot of people fear of putting a post on LinkedIn because of maybe people will be judgmental, maybe too much of criticism. As creative persons, you have to train yourselves to take criticism in a constructive way, and listen to good and bad critics, and take the bad critics and try to make your solution or your thing, whatever content which you're working, more better. That is the iterative process or iterations which every creative person does. Let's dive into some awareness for you guys. Thing of 15 different things to do to boost your creative confidence. It can be irrespective of locations. Okay. . Have how many people have heard about this task? 30 circle challenge. Task has been defined and innovated by IDEO. Quick 2-minute challenge you can do every day, or 3-minute challenge, and for yourself, or play with someone, or interact with someone online and share your findings or your work from it. Like example, you'll be giving 3 minutes of time, and you have to incorporate and visualize these circles. So your limitation is circles, and but your ideas are not limited, so you can play vaguely, widely, try to make it as you can visualize how many, what different compositions can make out a circle. It has been proven with analysis that a lot of people in their design cultures or in companies have introduced this challenge, like on a board they are kept it in an office where they enter and they play with these circles and they can erase it. So this is something like a coffee break for any person or any creative person. A small assignment, please draw different recognizable objects in those circles in not more than 3 minutes. Some examples I want you to show and explore. If you can see my screen, these are the examples. You'll get surprises definitely, because I've tried a lot with my mom and my mom does better than me. Okay. How many of you know this poster? And what is this poster of? If you are a music enthusiast, then I think so a lot of people might know. Ed Sheeran's album, if you see, this is what, and if you just listen to that song, okay, you'll get a lot of motivation out of it. And if you listen to the lyrics also, thinking out loud can be singing, can be having a conversation, can also, all these singing, conversation needs another person. Singing, you can alone also do that. But I'm talking about thinking out loud when you are alone also. Think out loud when you have someone also. Like example, I have this habit of opening any website, or opening any solution, or opening any app, or working with the ATM machine. I deliberately think out loud and I talk to myself that what kind of a button is this? Why is there so much focus? Why the color is red? Maybe the red color is about bringing some alarm to me. Maybe it's to focus. Or these kind of conversations is, if you make it a habit, a lot of your critical thinking abilities will actually increase. Don't get attached to your designs or the first cut or the first draft of designs. Okay, think out loud for each cut or each thing, and start moving with your critiques. List it down, and whenever you are thinking out loud, list it down if it is important. Try to make it a habit. 20 days again, and small assignment is that every day take one experience. Anything, it can be, it is just 2-3 minutes. Okay, take some online, you can open your phone, any app you can open, and you can just check. If aspiring UX designers I'm talking about, if you are an architect, aspiring architect you want to be, or a photographer, then go into your fields of expertise and see something and talk it out loud and think about it. How many of you do this? Swapping roles for any project also, or enacting someone, or do anything. Or example, any, how many of you actually enacted any actor or empathized like someone? How many of you did mimicry? I'm just talking about how you went into others' shoes and did some things. So swapping roles helps you a lot to build empathy. One day, you can actually, half an hour, try to switch roles with your sister, and just visualize, or maybe half a day, just visualize and live your life of your sister. What are the pain points and what are your frustrations? List it down. And I think so that is the best list to start your pet project. Swapping roles creates empathy. Empathy, when created, you get some drawback, you get some pointers or some frustrations of that person. And from those frustrations, you can prioritize and make a think tank. Think tank is nothing but a journal of ideas. You post it, your issues over there, and pick one issue. And as yesterday's session, I have told, 2 months for one project and 6 months for three detailed level projects to build a portfolio. So take out one project from their issue and start building on that project with some case study. Cool. Assignment swap roles with one of your user, like I have given you a sister or a housewife or example, or any age group you want to swap to. You can become your dad one day. Just have a fun session with your dad. I have n number of times enacted my dad in my home. It's hilarious. And think her like to understand her role and enact for half an hour. I am telling half an hour, but definitely half of the day try to enact it and empathize it. I think so you'll get a lot of ideas. How many of you over here know mind mapping? Basically, the web core of the web, you need to put an issue or a product which you are going to design. Like example, if you are redesigning any product, you put that product in between. If you are dealing with any issue, you don't know the product, you are dealing with an issue like women's safety is an issue, like COVID is an issue. So let that can be put over here. And basically what Aditya in the group chat has let us know, that letting your thoughts flow, that's the correct term to be used over here. Your mind thinks a lot of thoughts about when you think of one issue like women's safety. I can think about curfew times. I can think about the mentality. I can think about culture. Under culture I can think about what can be taught for our generations which are now. Under culture there are multiple thought bubbles will again come. Okay, so just imagine what example I told you about women's safety. Let's put it inside this. Okay, post-its also you can do it, no issues, and put it on the wall. Any medium, I'm not against of any medium, but sketching, why I'm telling you is that a rough sketch or a doodle, when you keep on practicing, as a designer, the best tool is that a pencil, a pen, and your hand. Rather than going to any software, just sketch it out in your journal. Once you have done this clutter of web organizedly, you need to ask other people and just see have you missed any point or any thought bubble, and incorporate that also. Remember this fact, mind mapping initially is diversified. You don't you first have to diverge, and then you don't have to converge at this point of time. Converging happens when you are prioritizing on which issue or which area to work on. Like example, clarity, effectiveness, mind tool, etc. I have 10 subjects. In 10 subjects, 2 subjects I think so are more concerning and can be worked because there are less products out there which are solving this issue. That is a good hypothesis to let you start with one pet project of your own for 2 months. Okay. So this mind mapping, I'm not telling you to only do for projects. Do it whenever you find any issue, and related that issue. If you think some issues are related to that, jot it down, sketch it up, and please maintain a journal. Okay. The assignment of a year is scribble out and do any rough mind mapping of recent topic or a project which you're working on, and make a web out of it and see how many you have missed or not. They have. How many of you have these journals? A lot of things comes into your mind. The best time which I get ideas is basically when I go to bed, and I think a lot of stuff. I just recollect and reflect about what I did today, and I just vaguely scatter my mind and wander it around. So I think so. Every one of you have your own time and space of the day where you actually are very creative and you get a lot of ideas. Yeah, I can actually incorporate this. I can actually design this. I can actually do something for it. So these ideas are something will vanish in no time. You will forget it because mind has so many thoughts. Unconsciously, you might be thinking and it goes off. So having a think tank, I would say, is a very good tool. You can call it an idea book or an idea tank. It are like dreams. If you don't jot it down, then in the long run, when you are building any pet projects, you won't have any idea or an issue tank with you. Whenever you want to build a pet project or work on something parallelly with your professional career, you need something. So you can go back to this book, see some of the issues or ideas which you came, and you can pick one and start mind mapping and start a project out of it. How many of you, what is value metrics? Differently, what is value to you all? There might be scenarios of what you're doing and value metrics changes accordingly. But if you see generically in a long term, let I put you in a context about let you are designing a solution for 100 women or 100 teenagers. Okay, I put you in this context. What is valuable for teenagers at this time? So all this stuff, value changes contextually, definitely. But in projects, when you are putting it out something, so every environment or ecosystem demands a value out of it. Like the ecosystem right now is having a session with you people and just sharing my experiences with you so that you get because when I was at your stage there were no mentoring of these kind of stuff from industry people in so frequent level of time and so easily accessible times. Okay, so I think so I saw that gap and I saw that missing point, and I thought this can be a good value matrix. Definitely I will explore and make it better, but value matrix changes and demands separate value for each ecosystem. So but when you put it in a design context way, value can be money. If you save money, that is valuable for your users, irrespective of age groups, irrespective of profiles. A teenager ke liye, if you save money, he is very happy. Even if a rich Ambani also you save money, it is value for him. So irrespective of from all economic levels of society or age groups, or I'm just showing you 4 points of bigger chunks of value. Okay, money is one of the saving which you do, which also turns out as value. Value is also time. A good saying is that time is money. Okay, so definitely time saved also is also a lot of value, adds value to your people. Value is also the ratings which you get for your solutions. The other is impact. When you actually jot down all these values, then you can come up with an impact that I have saved money or time or have provided ratings. Okay, and the final task is that testimonials. Rather than ratings, a lot of people give you word of appreciation or word of experience or their kind of take on what is your solution. The positive or the negative ones also, you can filter it down and take the positives, and that are your achievements also. That is also a value. Like example, in Instagram, if anyone likes a illustration or a work out there, they comment with a positive comment, right? That is also kind of a testimonial on Instagram. That is kind of a value for you to boost, right? So understand different values and try to just be aware of these values whenever you are working on any projects. Okay, how many of you, I know every one of you have fears of some or the other thing. It can be from a lame fear also to a very genuine fear also. Me, I also have had in number of fears, and definitely as a human being, you will have fears, you will overthink, but the best part is that the differentiating factor is how to overcome it. So a very scientific method and research from David Kelly. Please go and please take this note. Okay, David Kelly. Go to her. He's from IDEO. He has worked and researched on design thinking and creative confidence a lot. He has researched a lot. And Albert Bandura, he's a person. He takes reference from this person. He's a world famous psychologist. He did an experiment with people who are fearful of snakes. And there is a TED talk of David Kelly. If you can go and see on creative confidence, he gives you a very brief about that experiment where Albert Bandura did this experiment of people who are afraid and scared of snakes. He takes them to a room where there are levels of, there are different spaces where he created some kind of an step to actually eradicate that fear. Your fear might be posting on social media. I have taken that example extensively because a lot of people have asked me how to put content on LinkedIn or any social platforms. Okay, one of the key things is that you need to self expose yourself or give that self exposure to yourself and leverage yourself. So There are 7 steps which I would like to put forward. Let me show you with some example. There's a term which Albert Bandura came up with called guided mastery. Guided mastery is nothing but slowly, a step by step, following something which can eradicate that fear. Definitely, you have to step it down to make it more closer. So the fear of judgment can be followed like this. I followed this and it helped me out a lot to put out content. So okay, step one: follow people who are not afraid of judgment. There are a lot of motivational and TED Talk speakers who are actually active on multiple platforms, and you can follow them. You can see how they are doing. You can do an analysis of their pattern of engagement with their users online. Second step: observe and learn from their thought process. When you are spending a lot of time on these 2 steps, you get a confidence. There is an unknowing confidence which you get definitely. Third is attend some sessions or talks of speakers. Maybe it will help you a lot to understand their body language, their analysis, how do they present, how well they convince their audience, and are their facts clear. So all this will help you a lot. Step four, try putting out valuable content in a smaller way, anything. Don't worry about likes or etc. Whatever it is. And whenever you get comments, listen to them closely, good or bad. And the final step is take that constructive criticism of bad, make it good, and move on. The next post you should have feel of doing it better than the previous one. So this is one of the way you can actually eradicate the fear of judgment on social platforms. That was an example. Any one of you want to share any fear which you overcome with this kind of guided mastery technique, or maybe your way? You can let us know in the comments. Okay. So this will definitely help you to boost your confidence, and try to do that in any fear. I would contextually put it personalize it to your creative field. There are a lot of steps which you do in achieving your creative capabilities, like communicating to others, collaborating with others, presenting something, ideating on something, taking feedback. So all these are pointers which are related to your creative spectrum. So in these pointers, wherever you feel these fears, make a step or 7 step process out of it, guided mastery, and try to follow that. Right. Eighth is self-exposure. Lord, you need to market yourself. You need to actually know how relevant and helpful. And marketing is a wrong term. A lot of people might say. Definitely, okay. You can change it to leverage yourself. Okay. So you can leverage yourself by you are yourself. You should do your self-exposure itself. So put out whatever communication you are good with. You are good at sketching. You're good at video making. You're good at podcasts. You're good at memes. You're good at caricatures, cartoons, sketches, etc. Whatever mediums of communications are there, whichever, find your creative way of communicating and try to communicate with that skill which you have by putting something helpful for outside. This self-exposure also will help you to take a lot of feedback, get a network, build a network, and that network will help you in the long run. Do some pet projects. I love people who do something after their 9 to 5 job. Okay, that actually builds you. It's not what you do between 9 to 5. It's what after what 5 builds you. So side hustles is what make you. So any pet projects, that's the best thing. Mind mapping, think tank, taking out ideas, working on that, learning something, a new skill. So all these after 5 or at weekends, whenever you are off your academic or professional commitments, you need to spend some time for yourself, what you want to do in that time frame. So the assignment, pick something from your think tank and start working on a pet project.